What's up, my mathletes? This is Miss Muscarella coming at you, and in this short video, I'm going to show you how to draw angles in degrees, to how to sketch them, and also identify which quadrant that they're in. So speaking of quadrants, let's just do a quick review of how to identify the quadrants. Any angle that ends up in this space would be in quadrant number 1. Quadrant number 2 is located to the left of that. Below quadrant number 2 is quadrant number 3, and quadrant number 4 rounds it out. And notice all of them are Roman numerals. So when you describe the quadrants, be sure you use Roman numerals. If you don't, no point for you, because you have to use correct mathematical notation. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and draw an angle in standard position, and then we got to name the quadrant that angle is located in. All right, so let's take a look at these first two examples. We'll do these two together, then you'll pause the video and do the last two on your own. So 660. Now notice this angle is positive. So we're always going to start here at 0, and then we're going to go around. So 90 would be at the top axis, top of the y-axis. Over here is 180 degrees, and then you have 270 degrees. Then we're back at 360. Now I haven't quite made it around where somewhere in between two of those quadrantal angles, I would be 660 would lie. So I'm going to keep going. So after 360, so I'm just going to add another 90, and that's going to be 450. Add another 90, we're at 540. We're at another 90, now we're at 630. We're getting closer. 660 is not too far away from 630. But if I add another 90 to 630, I'm going to be at 720 degrees. So that tells me that angle, that quadrantal angle of 720, tells me like, hey, a little bit before that is where 660 is going to be. So let's go ahead and sketch it now. Again, initial side is always going to start from the origin. Ray is going to extend out towards 0, 360, 720, and so on. Now, when we draw it, we're going to start kind of close to the origin, go around. Now, that would be 360 right there. But I had to keep going to 450, to 540, to 630, and then somewhere in between, but I'm not, and it doesn't really matter where. As long as you get it in the right quadrant, you're good, because it's a sketch, and a sketch is a rough draft. So it would stop somewhere in there, and then I'm going to take my terminal side, and I'm going to extend that ray out, again with the arrow on. Now I've got 2 of my 3 arrows, so don't forget, add that third one, bink, bink, right there where the arrow is at the end of the ray, where the ray stops, where our angle stops. So we've got all 3 arrows. Now I got to identify which quadrant that is. And of course, we know that any angle that stops between 270 and 360 or 630 and 720 is in quadrant number 4. All right, so again, use Roman numerals when we identify that. So that's it. Now, when we take a look, however, at a negative angle, so let's make this one just a little bit smaller, just so we give ourselves a little bit of room over here. When we look at a negative angle, our setup is going to be kind of similar, but there's going to be a small thing that I want to make sure that you pay attention to. When we draw it, our axes, okay, we'll still have 0 is where we're going to start. However, 90, instead of being at the top of the y-axis, is going to be at the bottom, because now we're at negative 90 instead of positive 90. On the left, we'll still have negative 180, but at the top of the y-axis, we'll have negative 270. Now, I still haven't gotten close to 595, so I need to keep going, negative 360, and then negative 450, and then negative 540. Well, I'm getting closer. If I add another negative 90, then I'm going to be at negative 630. And if I go one more time, I'm going to be at negative 720. So again, we're going to start at the origin. Initial ray goes out towards 0 and 360, regardless of whether you're starting with a positive or negative angle. But this time, we're going to move down. We're going to move in that clockwise direction. So we're going to go negative 90, negative 180, negative 270, negative 360, negative 450, negative 540, and then somewhere up here, it would stop because that angle is going to be between negative 630 and negative 540. So that's where we would terminate or stop our angle, which means our terminal side would be somewhere right there. Where the angle stops, make sure you have all 3 arrows on there. Cool, and we know that that is up in quadrant number 2. So in quadrant number 2 is where the angle negative 595 degrees lives. All right, so that's how you draw angles, positive and negative. There's 2 examples for you. Now I want you to pause the video, go ahead and do examples 3 and 4 on your own, and then come back and check yourself. And make sure you pay attention to all the notation things and that you're solid. And if I have you in class and you're not sure about something, be sure that you ask. All right, so pause the video and then come out and back and check. All right, my mathletes, how did we do with that? Did you get quadrant number 1 and quadrant number 4 for each of those? And did you have the right number of rotations or revolutions going around the x and y axis? So hopefully you got example number 3 right, you got example number 4 right, and by now you should understand how to draw angles, sketch angles, and identify the quadrant when it's given to you in degrees. Now in the next video, we're going to take a look at these other examples. 5, 6, 7, 8, who do we appreciate? That's right, we appreciate you, and we're going to show you how to do the same thing using radians. All right, I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. Have a good one. Make it a great day. Peace out.